Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about a situation that took place earlier this year. Now, there's very few events in hip hop that capture national attention, but a shooting that took place at a small concert during Memorial Day weekend changed all that in South Florida, man, in Miami. Now, there was a situation that took place back in May of 2021, and this was known as the Mula mass shooting. Now, this situation brought on responses from the governor, the mayor of Miami, and for the most part, the entire nation because of the brazen attack that took place outside of this small club venue, man, where people were just going to party, have a good time, and watch some local artists rip up the stage. Now, it seems that local authorities have been on the job and been trying to solve this case. As each development came out, they've updated the public. But it seems like a recent development and the capture of one of the suspects has created some glimmerance of hope that this case will get solved and really lead us to understand what went down at the Mula mass shooting. Now, before we get into the specifics, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, man, let's go back to May 30th, 2021.
All right, Adam, thank you. Our team has been working around the clock to keep you up to date on the latest information on the mass shooting that happened in Northwest Miami-Dade.
The deadly shooting that happened over Memorial Day holiday weekend, shocking South Florida and parts of the country as well, as that news continues to make national headlines.
Where at 12:30 a.m. at our album release party, 2 people were killed and more than 20 people were injured in what the police called a targeted and cowardly act. Now, on this Sunday morning, which was also the Memorial Day weekend celebration for Miami, which is an annual event that many people attend to have a good time and just to let their hair down for the rest of the year, you know what I mean? And this was the first time that Miami was back open, so, there were large crowds everywhere. Now, at this concert venue called Mula Banquet Hall, which is located on the northwest side of Miami, there was a line starting to develop where a lot of people were showing up to watch a local rap artist in a local rap show. And the 2 artists that were featured on the flyer were a rapper by the name of Abmg Spitta and another rapper by the name of JRG Foepack. Now, JRG Foepack and Abmg Spitta are relatively unknown and local artists in the Miami scene. They've got connections to different rappers throughout the industry who are major names like Kodak Black and people like that. But for all intents and purposes, these cats were not known on a national level until that night. Even though the night started off with the intentions of being a local rap concert just to entertain fans in a local atmosphere with a local vibe, this would soon become a national tragedy and a national story. Before the show started, a crowd is seen gathering outside of the venue, waiting to get their IDs checked and enter the building. Now, out of nowhere, you start to see vehicles operating in the background. You see one vehicle that distinctly moves slowly throughout the parking lot and then circles back and then moves out of the parking lot and out of the way of the cameras that were in front of the building. Now, as the patrons start to pile on and line up, all of a sudden, gunshots ring out. As gunshots start to ring out, you start to see people fall into the ground, running the opposite direction, and essentially being ambushed. This was caught on multiple cameras from multiple different angles and been assessed by the law enforcement and authorities in Miami to try to piece this thing together. Now, it goes without saying that this was a horrific scene that was caught on camera and later broadcast for the entire world to see. The early estimates of the people who were harmed in this brazen attack were that 2 people were killed and 20 people were wounded during this early morning rap show. Cops said that 3 gunmen jumped out of an SUV and fired into a crowd with assault rifles and handguns in the suspected targeted shooting just after midnight at Mula Banquet Hall in northwest Miami-Dade County. Later on, footage can be seen of the suspected gunman running over to the crowd after parking a white SUV and then returning to the vehicle after the shooting had allegedly taken place. Now, as more footage starts to be released, you start to see more of the details in the background. Even though the footage comes out grainy, you can make out the details. You can see at the very same time that the alleged gunmen had exited their vehicles, it synced up with the footage of the partygoers being shot at, scurrying away, either running in opposite directions or even people being hit and some losing their lives. After the original estimates, it was found that one other person had lost their lives to the shooting and multiple others were injured. Now, this situation went unanswered for a long time, even though there were many press conferences, some being interrupted by some of the victims' families. It was still a question of why this took place and who was responsible. Well, the most recent developments have led to one suspect being arrested. Now, according to police, they've arrested a suspect in the mass shooting at the banquet hall. A man by the name of Devontae Barnes, who's 22 years old, is facing 3 counts of first-degree murder and 20 counts of attempted murder. Now, with the arrest of Devontae Barnes, local authorities feel that they found the first link in the chain of solving the case of the El Mula mass shooting. And the arrest of Devontae Barnes is a major lead in solving this case, because originally, investigators had found one of the suspect's vehicles dumped in the Biscayne Canal about 9 miles away from the shooting scene. That vehicle was later reported as being stolen months earlier, so there were no leads from the vehicle alone. Now, Barnes is the first person arrested in the case, but they're hoping that his arrest will lead to further people being arrested, or maybe even get Barnes to cooperate and help them in their investigation. Now, it seems that in this shooting that the suspects weren't as smart and as well planned out as they thought, and Barnes allegedly being the lookout might be the clue that led to breaking this whole case. Now, according to his arrest report, surveillance video shows that a silver Nissan Altima that is registered to Barnes' mother were surveilling the area where the shooting occurred just prior to the incident. Now, according to reports, police said that Barnes waived his Miranda rights and confessed to meeting up with other people involved in the shooting before it happened. Based on the information given in these reports, it seems that Barnes has already started talking to authorities and giving out clues of what took place that night. So it's only before long that we'll see more suspects arrested. According to the arrest report of Barnes, he said one of the suspects involved in the shooting wanted one specific person killed who was supposed to attend a concert that was being held at the venue. Barnes said he then reported back to the group whether the victim was at the locations authorities said. So basically, Barnes was acting as a lookout, according to these reports. Police have not released the identity of the victim that was being targeted by the group. Police released 911 calls earlier this year that captured the chaos that immediately followed the shooting. Local authorities were aware that a rap concert had been taking place the night of the shooting at that venue, but were reluctant to say if one of the rappers were involved or even the target in this shooting. Based on a review of all the footage that was gathered in this shooting, they found additional factors that the public didn't know at the time. Now, originally it was known that 3 gunmen pulled up in a white SUV and sprayed the crowd with bullets. That only lasted 10 seconds and led to all that chaos. Now, another vehicle that isn't seen by many was off in the cut, and there were also gunmen spotted in the distance shooting from that vehicle as well. Now, at this time, it's not known whether they were returning fire at the suspected gunmen or they were firing into the crowd as well. But what is known is this was a definite planned and plotted out targeted hit of one individual that led to many casualties. As for now, it looks like the first suspect caught in the case is talking, and it looks like it's gonna lead to further arrests, so be expecting a part 2 of this in the future. Now with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Do me a favor, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content, and we out of here. Peace.